Our attention to tonight's live battle between Marco Antonio Barrera and Manny Pacquiao. The build-up to the fight has been dominated by the revelation several weeks ago that 6 years ago, Barrera had brain surgery to remove some irregular blood vessels, and after that, 2 tiny metal plates were inserted into his skull to protect the area where the blood vessels were removed. This might have created much more of a furor were it not for the fact that Barrera has fought 16 times since then, a couple of them among the most violent fights in recent memory, with no apparent ill effects. Still, yesterday, our Larry Merchant sat down to talk to Barrera about this surgery, which is regarded as unprecedented for an active fighter.
Marco Antonio, what symptoms were you experiencing that led to the operation?
Bueno,
there were some problems in 95 and 96. 97, I started getting some headaches. So then I went to the doctor, and he suggested he said medicine or surgery, and I opted for the surgery because that would be the easiest and quickest way.
una cirugía y opté por la cirugía.
When you heard that you could undergo brain surgery, how concerned were you that this could end your career?
Pues yo pensaba que ya se había terminado desde el
In
momento.
reality, I was concerned because I thought that when I was going to have that surgery, my boxing career was over. So when the surgery was performed, I told the doctor, thank you, and I'll be seeing you, and I don't think I'm going to fight anymore. He says, why? He says, because of the surgery. Doctor said, no, this is just like if you had a cold, you get the cold, and then you get over it, and you go back to your normal life. I thought my career was over.
Had you discussed this with your family, with the people around you in boxing, and did everyone understand the risks you were taking either to your health in general or to your career?
La decisión que yo tomara iba a ser la correcta.
Yes, I talked to my family, which is the most important thing in my life, and we discussed this over and over. And then I talked to my ex-promoters, ex-management, and the doctor, after the surgery, sent them a letter saying that everything was okay and that I could continue with my career.
Que la pudiera mandar a todas las comisiones.
Could you show us exactly where the operation was?
Sí, pues del lado izquierdo. Aquí está.
Right here.
Aquí, por aquí.
And presumably you have been hit on many occasions in that spot.
Muchísimas veces. Yo creo que
My plates that I have in my head, maybe they have it like a magnet because all the punches land there.
Lastly, do you feel the fact that this has come up before a big fight against a dangerous opponent will in some way affect you?
me pudo afectar
Worried me
un
a little
poco.
bit, especially because my ex-managers and promoters were bombarding the news, the media, with these rumors that I couldn't fight anymore. But I am well, and I'm going to show everyone that Marco Antonio Barrera can fight.
Larry, Marco Antonio Barrera recently fired his longtime manager, Ricardo Maldonado. He says he believes Maldonado revealed the surgery and the metal plates to media for the purpose of embarrassing him. How has the Texas State Athletic Commission handled this?
It had a well-regarded neurologist examine Barrera, and he reported that Barrera is fit to fight. The most compelling medical evidence, all those fights Barrera fought since the operation. Normally, ring physicians and commissions these days are very cautious, in part because it's their job, in part because we live in a litigious society. Example, a Midwestern ring physician gave up his medical license after losing a $1 million lawsuit filed by the family of a fighter who died in the ring. We have to assume that the ring commissions and doctors would have been more skeptical about Barrera had this been his first fight coming off such an operation, which presumably is why it wasn't reported at the time. That Midwestern ring physician, Jim, is now a maitre d'. You don't get sued for giving a bad table.
Yeah, but if somebody slips. On the other hand, there are still those in boxing media and in general media who are startled and perhaps outraged that Barrera is being allowed to fight. Manny, you're closest to the sport. Do you have any concerns about it?
At first, upon hearing the news of him having the implant in his head, I was concerned. But after I was made aware of the fact that it's right here, which means it's right near his forehead area on the left side, which means that he's been hit there quite a few times, especially when you consider the great fights that he's had with Morales and Naseem Hamed. I don't think that's a big concern to me at this point of the stage. I think the biggest concern to his fans, among which I am, is the fact that he's fighting a very good fight tonight with a fighter named Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao is very well prepared. He looks very sharp, they tell me, very focused, and I consider him to be a much more dangerous foe than the little metal spot in his head.
Pacquiao, a forceful physical fighter who hopes to storm Barrera and force him into a war. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. And you'll see that Marco Antonio Barrera, after 14 years in the sport, is still only 29. He'll be 30 January 17, a birthday he shares with Muhammad Ali. Pacquiao is still only 24, half-inch taller. Half-inch advantage in arm length, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Pacquiao weighed in a pound under the limit, but has put on 11 pounds unofficially since and weighs 136 tonight. He'll go into the ring as physically the larger man. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Marco Antonio Barrera Manny Pacquiao fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards if the 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell at any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
And here comes Manny Pacquiao. Emerging into sight, star Marco Antonio Barrera. Pacquiao has been prepared for what to expect from the crowd and blows kisses as they boo.
He has this impish smile on his face whenever we talk to him personally. Back in the Philippines, he is a star of astounding proportions, up there with an Ali, a Chavez. In their countries, politicians compete to be photographed with him. He has been in movies. He's a pool shark. He needs 6 bodyguards around him and his family. He's an extraordinary character. If he came from Manila, Jim, I'd call him the Thriller from Manila.
Instead, he comes from the island of Mindanao, where there is extreme political strife, and the dark side of Pacquiao's superstardom in the Philippines is, as Larry said, he needs 6 bodyguards. There have been threats against his wife and 2 daughters. There have been kidnap plots and publicized threats against him, and that is one reason Pacquiao is considering, we are told, eventually moving out of the Philippines. Meanwhile, Marco Antonio Barrera faces no such problem in Mexico, where he, like Pacquiao, is an adored national hero.
He is not only an amazing fighter, but he has to be counted now as a medical marvel.
Marco Antonio Barrera's big career stumble came 6 years ago, prior to the surgery, when he twice lost against his nemesis, Junior Jones, a long-armed 1-2 puncher who caught him with jabs and right hand. Since then, he's been more or less impeccable in the ring. The only official loss, February 19, 2000, in that fabulous first fight against Eric Morales. A lot of ringside observers felt that Barrera should have gotten the decision in that one. Some of those same ringside observers felt that Morales should have gotten the decision in the second Barrera-Morales fight, which was won by Marco, and you can't expect that somewhere down the road there may be a third. And now both fighters are in the ring, so let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Alamodome, San Antonio, Texas, Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions and Miller Lite, along with HBO Sports, are proud to present 12 rounds of boxing for the Featherweight Championship of the World. Brought to you in association with Murad Muhammad's M&M Sports and sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, Chairman Leo Vasquez, Executive Director William Kuntz. The scoring at ringside will be done by 3 judges using the 10-point system. The judges are Rick Crocker, Ray Hawkins, and Gail Van Oy. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Lawrence Cole. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from San Antonio, Texas, deep in the heart of Texas, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red trimmed with black, his official weight, 125 pounds. In his professional career, he has demonstrated amazing power while compiling an outstanding record of 37 victories, including 28 knockouts, with only 2 defeats and 1 bout even, while capturing a world title, which is not on the line tonight. From General Santos City, Philippines, the challenger, the IBF Super Bantamweight Champion of the World, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white with black letters and officially weighing 126 pounds. His professional record is an excellent one, consisting of 57 victories, including 40 knockouts with only 3 defeats, and he is recognized by his peers, the fans, and pundits alike as one of the very best pound-for-pound fighters in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, de Ciudad de Mexico, el campeón de la gente, the reigning, defending, universally recognized featherweight champion of the world, the baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Manny, Marcos Antonio. Where? I want to have a good, clean fight. Pelea limpia y buena suerte. Good luck. Touch him up.
Barrera says that he sees in Pacquiao his own younger, hungry warrior self. Can he hold off Pacquiao with his skill, or is he going to be forced into a toe-to-toe battle?
And you see the graphic that presages first-round action. 9 first-round knockouts for Pacquiao, 6 for Barrera. Incidentally, 10,127 in the Alamodome for this fight. That's 3 fewer than the 10,130 who saw the promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, knock out David Kamau, June of 1997. Pacquiao reaching with the left hand. Barrera reaches out and goes to the body with both hands.
Jim, I'd like to point out that
Lawrence Cole's going to call that a knockdown as he motions Barrera to a neutral corner and applies the count. And already Barrera has knocked Pacquiao down, and Pacquiao saying, why? Why'd you call that a knockdown?
I'm not sure that Cole saw that punch land, and I'm not sure that a punch did land.